Hello everybody. How are you doing? It's been like months, I think. I haven't done this in ages. Yeah. Hope you're having a good time. I hope everything's okay on your end. I'm doing a bit of a surprise kind of interstitial stream. It kind of occurred to me the other day that I knew that I had been streaming for a long time, but I was like, oh shit, I can't be. I always wanted to start it up again, and then I'm like, shit, I can't do that the next 2 weeks. And I thought I should at least try to get one stream in and one podcast in. So that's what we're trying to do tonight. Hope you're all doing well, and yeah, that's the plan. Also, I'm wearing my Liverpool shirt because I'm now a official supporter of Liverpool FC for some convoluted reasons. Basically, Dad wanted to give me tickets and fly me out to a game for my birthday, which is next month. Actually, it's in exactly a month. And we're like, yeah, I'm going to sort that out. I got friends in Liverpool. I can sort this out. Yeah, I had no idea how hard it is to get tickets. So basically, you have to be a supporter of the club. You have to be a member of the club, and then you get you get the chance to go. You're in the lottery for some tickets. And I actually could have done that for the first half of the season now. Probably nowhere near my birthday, but then I figured out that my dad has to be a member as well. Otherwise, I can't buy a ticket for him. So yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna make him a member as well, and then we're gonna try again, whenever in November, for the second half of the season. But anyway, I'm now a member of Liverpool FC. Which I think I've got one up on Dan now. I'm pretty sure he isn't. So it was worth it for that alone. In case you don't know, Dan is a good friend of mine from Liverpool who I did a podcast with for several years, for a long time. And he's obviously a LFC fan. Yeah. So let's get into this. This podcasting bullshit. Just realized I haven't opened the Hindenburg. Let's hope it doesn't crash. Still cracks me up every time that they named this program Hindenburg. What do we want to do? Want to do this, right? I think. Yeah. Man, I don't know how this works. I haven't done this in a very long time. It's it's loading the files. It doesn't know what to do either. Well, how did this work? Like that? Yeah, okay. I think, yeah. Then delete the chapters. Chip. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a little podcast today. Basically explaining what's been going on, why I've been taking a hiatus, and then I've got some updates on the modern solution story that I've also talked about on the show ages ago. And there's been some new developments, and there's probably some developments coming up, and I've done some research on this recently, so I thought might as well throw that in because people are quite interested about that. In that. See, I can't even talk English anymore. Back in the day. All right. Let's see. Let's see if this works. I haven't done this in so long. I'm gonna fuck this up. Gonna fuck it up. Fuck it up big time. Bam. 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 Yes. Okay. That looks good. Everything looks good from here. We can call this. I'm gonna fuck this up. Gonna fuck it up. Fuck it up big time. Bow. Bow, 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 bow. Well, that works. All right. Let's do this. See if this still works. Ready when you are. Don't I have a thing? Oh, yes. That still works. Things are still working. This is amazing. This is really good. Okay, I'm gonna try to do a podcast now, which is probably might go horribly wrong because I haven't done this in a while. Also, this reminds me, I should probably where did I put them? Should probably take some hay fever meds before I start. As you can see, total chaos here. By the way, I'm like in the middle of I went places and then I went other places. I didn't even this is like the third trip I'm doing soon. Because I haven't even unpacked there's like shit unpacked suitcases everywhere. Don't mind me here for a second. Can I actually mute my Nothing works against hay fever like some meth. No. Anyway, let's do this. Let's try if this works. Let's see if I can still do this. All right. You're listening to The Private Citizen. This is episode 156 for Thursday, the 20th of July, 2023. The Widening Gyre. Hello, everybody. My name's Fab. I'm your host. In case you might still remember who I am. Coming to you live from Düsseldorf in Germany, from the Fab Industries podcasting studios that haven't been used a lot recently. And yeah, I'm back. This is you probably thought this was never going to happen, but it has. I'm back with the show for a while, and I'm going to explain to you. This is what the show is going to be about. I'm going to explain to you what happened, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about Modern Solution. You might remember this very interesting software development / IT security story from a few years ago that I reported on, and there's been some new developments, and keep you updated on that. I've been working on that recently. So nice to have you. thanks for listening. I don't know, is that everything? I haven't done this in a while. I'm like, I don't know how this works anymore. It's been way too long. Anyway, I might as well. Let's just get crack straight into it. I'm live streaming this on Twitch as well, by the way, as usual. So we might have some live feedback. We'll see. So let's start with the first topic here immediately, and then let's get right into it. I don't know how this works. I don't know what buttons to press. Wait, that was definitely the wrong button. Let's try this one. So let's start with the elephant in the room. My unplanned podcast hiatus. I hadn't planned to not do a podcast for about 2 months or whatever it's been. And there's nothing terrible that's happened. It's just like general life stuff. I feel very overwhelmed. I mean, I did the title of the podcast says it all. I took it from one of my favorite poems by William Butler Yeats that starts like this, which explains my life right now quite well. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Good poem, by the way. The Second Coming, W.B. Yeats. Sorry. So that's kind of my life right now. It's not anything dramatic. It's just work. And there have been some unpleasant developments related to my work, just general, being a freelancer, some tax bullshit that I have to deal with, some insurance bullshit, which is just like normal bureaucracy that has kind of piled up that I had to deal with, and that's come on top of everything else. So there's nothing serious that has happened, but like I've just been busy. I've been traveling for work. I've been traveling for pleasure. I haven't been home much. Then when I was home, I had to do like some bookkeeping bullshit. So it's just been, I'm trying to earn some money in between. So I've just had a hell of a time and trying to record a podcast, and I haven't been able to. I'm very sorry for that. I'm trying to rectify this. It's difficult. I won't be able to do a show in the next 2 weeks. I already know that. Because there's some other stuff that's coming up, including some pleasure. I mean, I'm going to Italy to see Bruce Springsteen, which I've also seen since you last heard me. I've seen him in Düsseldorf, which was an amazing concert. But I'm really looking forward to the one I'm seeing him in Monza on the Formula One track. My wife gave this to me as a birthday present last year because I've never seen Springsteen in Italy, and the Italian concerts are famously amazing. So I've been looking forward to that very much, and that's just one of the things I'm doing. I'm also kind of, having seen that concert in Düsseldorf, it kind of felt like a farewell tour to me. So I'm very happy that I get to see him again, and that I actually get to see him maybe last time with the E Street Band. I don't know, but like I get to see him in Italy, which will be amazing. But yeah, there's lots of stuff has been going on, and lots of it pleasure. And I mean, one of the reasons I've talked about this before, one of the reasons I haven't been able to do podcasts is that I'm doing a lot of exercise and sports recently, which I've taken up, and which has been really good for my health and just my general well-being. And I've kind of promised myself not to drop that in favor of work. So like not to say I'm not going to the bouldering gym today, even though I plan to, because I really need to record a podcast. So that's one of the reasons why the podcast has suffered. But it's like kind of for personal well-being reasons, which I think are very important. So, I kind of really don't want to apologize for that. I'm just going to explain what has been happening. I've been doing a hell of a lot of bouldering. I've recently, last week I did like 3 days of like kickboxing training, which was fucking brutal. I mean, I was like dead, like especially because all the other people in the room were like half my age. it really showed. But yeah, I'm don't worry, like I'm doing really well. So that's not the issue. The issue is just time. And when I'm back, like from the stuff I'm doing, like work and other trips and other stuff. I have some stuff to do when I'm home, but it's gonna take about 2 weeks. After that, I really want to get into podcasting regularly again, once a week. I gave up on like catching up on the episodes I've missed. That is not happening, but I definitely want to give you an episode a week again, and I'm gonna find myself into that somehow. Hello, Astral. How are you doing? Astral's in Twitch chat. Beware of escaped lines. Are there any escaped lines in Italy? Let me just quickly Google that. Escaped lines. I've also not kept up with the news. Oh, escape line caused lockdown in Berlin. Oh, don't worry, I'm very far from Berlin. Yes, I'm like, that line will have to. How far is Berlin from Düsseldorf? Düsseldorf, Berlin, distance. Oh, that line will have to walk over 500 kilometers. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. It is summer. It is hot. It's very hot. I really like it. Actually, we're going to Italy, and then there's this like 45 degrees there right now, and people were like, "Oh my god, how can you go there?" And I'm like, "It's quite awesome." I'm just gonna pretend it's fucking the desert in Australia. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be fine. Some stuff like last time we were there a few years ago with the camping van as well. It was like 38 degrees, I think, and some stuff melted like on the bus. I had like some plastic lying in the where the front like windscreen is on that dashboard thing, whatever. This was some plastic that just melted. So I'm fine. So basically, that's what's happening. What's happening? That's what has been happening. This is what caused this somewhat unplanned hiatus. It's just been like craziness, like just life craziness, and it's literally been like. I'm not making this up. There've been like several situations. I think at least 3 or 4 times where I was like preparing to do a podcast. I actually have like I think 3 sets of finished podcast show notes. But then something came up. Like one time, literally, like the wife had like another, like she does like science, and then she does things with patients, and there was like a heart transplant happening. So I had to drive her to the heart transplant thing because she was like, "I'm going by the bike," and I'm like, "You went to sleep, you wake up, you can hardly walk. I'm just gonna drive you. Get a coffee." And that's like, I think that's like the second time that happened. The second time I had to sacrifice a podcast because of that. But like there's been several incidents. There's been another thing where like I had like a week where like, okay, I got this week, I got nothing planned, I can do like podcast whatever, and then like literally shit happened. And then it's like, oh, now I have to do this, and then I have to do that, and then something on the car broke, and it was like, for fuck's sake, it's been a mess. But there's also been a lot of fun. I've been like to a music festival and all kinds of shit. So I'm not complaining. I'm just it's been unplannable hell for some time. I hope I can get out of that. I at least did a lot of work on like the paperwork shit. To have the paperwork out of the way and stuff like that. So that should calm down. We'll see. And I have to get some podcasts in before September, because in September Starfield's gonna come out, and I think I'm gonna play that for like a week straight. Probably gonna stream that on Twitch or whatever. But like, yeah. Anyway, everything's been fine. It's just been, that's what's been going on. But let's before I get into the other stuff I want to talk about, it's just I'd love to hear from you. Like you can, I'm going to talk a bit later. I'm not going to include any feedback in the show, but I'm going to explain how to send me feedback and everything. I'd love to hear from you. What's been going on. Did you think I was dead? I'd love to hear from the supporters of the show, because by and large they've just stuck with me, even though I've just like not released the show. But I had some of these problems earlier, and I talked about this earlier, so people might have realized what was going on. But like, I hope you're all good, and if you got some stuff, what I really want to know from you is I have like the shitty thing about not doing a show is so much has happened, and there's lots of shit that like really needs to get talked about. I think like lots of important stuff that hasn't been covered in news, or has been covered like weirdly, and lots of things that have been going on. So if you have anything you want me to cover, anything you want me to prioritize, please let me know. I would, that would be helpful. That would be really cool. So I can kind of decide what to prioritize, because basically I lost the plot. There's been during this time, I was planning to do shows, so I have like lists, and my notebooks are full of shit that I want to cover, but now it's like so much I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna have to, when I'm back from the next things I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna start the show up again, I'm gonna have to like kind of sit down and prioritize. Which is gonna be hard. I mean, there's just so much craziness been happening. Just like reporting and weird things, of course, Ukraine and everything. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. I'm gonna at the end of the show, I'm gonna explain how to do that. Let's move on and talk about the other thing I wanted to talk about here, though. Yeah, so the other story, this is actually something I've been working on. This is one of the reasons I was unexpectedly busy. Was like I've been working more on the modern solution story. If you don't remember that, or you haven't listened to the show when I talked about that, it's understandable. I originally covered this in episode 91, which was on the 20th of October 2021, so ages ago. But just to quickly recap you on the story. So there was a story in a German tech magazine about like a programmer who, programmer, IT security expert who found a security vulnerability in some software from a German company, and didn't really get rewarded for reporting the vulnerability, but got his offices searched and stuff, like his computer and stuff seized by the police as kind of a reward. And I found the story amazing, so I contacted some people, and actually got in contact with among other people, with the actual guy, the IT security guy who got who was at the center of this. So to recap what happened, there's a German company which is hilariously called Modern Solution, which provides a software solution, for lack of a better word. It's not very modern, but what they do is, like, if you are selling things on the internet, right? You got the website, you're selling something. There are lots of marketplaces, including Amazon. I don't know if they do this, if Amazon's part of their service, but like there are German companies that are kind of like Amazon. There's one called Check24, Check24. There's one called Otto. There's other companies. They're like online marketplaces, and they have, like Amazon, they have a program where, like, if you have a store and you sell stuff, you can also sell via Amazon. And what this company does is like an interface. It interfaces your, I don't know, let's say you have a Shopify store or whatever, right? You have a website and you have like an online store. It interfaces that with not with Amazon, but like with these other bigger marketplaces, so that your inventory appears on there as well. And all the product description and everything appears on that marketplace, and then people on that marketplace, which is the big benefit, like they don't have to sign on to your website, right? This is why companies also sell stuff at Amazon, because people are already logged in at Amazon, and they can just pay there, right? They can just buy in that marketplace, and you get the customer information, what they bought. You obviously also get the money, but like you get the address and where you have to send the stuff, right? And so this company, Modern Solution, which is from Gelsenkirchen, which is in the Ruhr area, which is very close to where I am right now, they provide this interface, right? You install their software, and then it does this for you. Now this programmer who was working on similar software. I think he actually worked at Modern Solution at some point, but I'm not quite 100% certain of that. But like anyway, he was working for a customer, debugging their software. Right? He was weird things were going on with the software, and he was like, like any good IT guy, like I used to do back in the day when I did like kind of support like this, network support and software support. You kind of use part of the IT security toolkit, right? He was like, something weird's going on this network with the software, so he used like, I don't know, Wireshark or whatever to look at the traffic, because he tried to debug the software, which, if you have an executable from a company and it's not your software, you can't look in there and like you can't debug it, right? So often the first step is like, let's see what actually goes over the network. It was like, oh, this is weird. There's some like unencrypted information here, or like just transport secure, but like easily decrypted. And so what he figured out is that their software. So you install it on your system, and it opens an SQL. And people who know a little bit about software development, IT security, they will already like roll their eyes, because it opens an SQL connection over the internet to like their servers, and this like syncs back and forth the customer data, right, from that whatever shop you like, from your online store to like their system, which then links it to these marketplaces, and yeah, so he figured out that this was not really well secured. So you could actually access this customer information that was synced over this connection, which already was a problem. But the much bigger problem was that the software used a hard-coded login that was hard-coded in the software that you install on your system to open this connection. And you could actually get the password from the network traffic. But you could also get it from just simply decompiling the software. And this was a problem, because this password was the same for all instances of the software, which means not only could people access like this connection and the user, like the customer data you're syncing, but you could use it to basically log into this Modern Solution company servers and get all the customer data. And by that I mean not the customers of the company, which are online stores, the customers that buy things. So you went to Check24 and bought something, right? Then your data at a company that was hooked up to this Modern Solution software, right? Your data was on their servers, and everybody could just access this. So this IT security guy, wrote the company and said, guys, you have very bad security on your software. This is like really bad. This is like a really like hundreds of thousands of customer records are basically openly accessible, because anybody, and I actually have a copy of the vulnerable software, because at the time you could download it off their website. So even non-customers of Modern Solution could download their binary, extract the password, and then get access to all this data. So so the company didn't like react really well. They were like, nah, this isn't true. It's all secure. Like companies that are just kind of not good at this kind of react, right? This is not a problem, whatever. So this security researcher went to a blogger, who's a German blogger, who's relatively well known in the space, and explained everything. And then the blogger, like on the same day, like emailed the company and said, they also had phone calls, and he was like, guys, this security vulnerability, fix this. And the company fixed it, but the blogger and this security researcher went public with the information. Now, like I think within 24 hours after telling the company, which is, it's not a very professional way to do this, right? If that guy had contacted me, I would have explained to him, yes, okay, I'm going to verify this is a security vulnerability. I'm going to tell the company that the press is looking at this, but then we need to give them time to fix it, right? And then we can write the story at the point when they have fixed their servers. That's what's called responsible disclosure. You're confidentially disclosing the security vulnerability, giving the company enough time to fix it. And, there's discussions on how long that time is. There's like the Google 0-Day Initiative, which has a very stringent, like very short time period. There are people who advocate longer times. But anyway, responsible disclosure means you only go public once the security vulnerability is fixed. Now they did that, so it was fixed by the time the story came out from his blogger, but it was a very short time. So that wasn't very well done. But it was responsible disclosure. So now what this company did, instead of just, like a good company would have said, wow, this is great that you found this here. Have, I don't know, 10,000 euros, have 2,000 euros, have a t-shirt, anything. Here's a 100 euro Apple Store, Amazon gift voucher. That would have at least been something. It wouldn't have been much. It wouldn't have been, for a security vulnerability of that magnitude, would have been laughable, but it would have been a nice gesture at least. Now what they did is they actually went to the police and actually said, well, this guy hacked us. They actually went and I'm blanking on the on the English word. I don't know. I haven't been doing this. I haven't too enough. So my English is. What is that? What is unsigned? What is that? Why can't I remember this word? What the hell's wrong with me? Yeah. I don't know. I guess they filed a complaint with the police. I guess that's what you would say. But, they went and, this guy did something illegal and hacked our service. Now, this company is filled with not very intelligent people. I think so much is clear. That's not how you deal with people disclosing security vulnerabilities to you. No matter if you think they're kind of idiots or they did that wrong or they didn't do it very nicely, whatever. You don't do that because this guy's a good guy. He told you, he didn't go on some black dark web forum and, dark web in air quotes, some hacker forum and sell this, right? Like he could have kind of fucking sold the security vulnerability to some people or download the data and sell that. Or whatever. I mean, this is not a 0-day vulnerability that you'd get a lot of money for, but like he didn't do that. He did the right thing, so he's a good guy. He might have done it in a weird way, but that happens. Nerds, software developers, IT security guys, gals, sometimes they're a bit weird. They got ADHD or whatever. Some of them, I dealt with some people that were clearly on like some kind of autism spectrum. They're obviously often not very good with social, intersocial things. But, who cares? Like, he did the right thing. So, but what they did is like, told them off to the police. Now, I don't blame the police for investigating because I know how the legal system works. Like the police has to investigate. Like that's the law. Like that's their, that's their whole reason for being. So that is not. I wasn't criticizing that. I wrote a column back in the day where basically I criticized the DA, like the district attorney, the Staatsanwaltschaft, and this ended up with the Staatsanwaltschaft Köln. And they should have dropped the case, right? They should have never raided his house. Like if they knew what they were doing and they'd read all of this, I'm sure, like I don't think you can come to the conclusion that this guy is a malicious hacker. No matter what the company says, if you have some technical knowledge, right? And you dig into how they secured, in air quotes, this password and why the security vulnerability happened, you figure out that the guy's right. Like, he is right. This is like, and even if you have the suspicion that he actually accessed the customer data, which would be illegal, I think you should give him some leeway, because he was obviously doing security research, and he was doing it for a good cause, which is evident by telling the fucking company about it. If he was a bad guy, if he was a real like black hat, he wouldn't have told the company about the security vulnerability. And anybody who knows anything about IT security know that. Okay, the district attorney's office, it's not their specialty, but they should have people who know this kind of thing, or they should ask people. Anyway, so they went and said, no, we're doing an investigation, and they busted into the guy's house. He's a freelancer like me, he just works from home. They busted into his place, took his computer, his like 4 laptops, I think, his mobile phone, and like any like hard drives that were lying around, like external hard drives, USB sticks, whatever. And they've kept this for ages. They actually gave it back to him a few months ago, which is the new development in the story. Well, this is one of the new developments in the story. But they kept it for years, right? And the guy, the amazing thing, I reported on this back in the day, the guy was actually helping them. He was like, I'm going to give you the passwords. You can look at the shit. Right? There's nothing illegal on there. He actually cooperated. That would be more than I would do, because I feel like I'm legally and especially morally obliged as a journalist to protect my sources. So I would never give the police any passwords. But okay, he actually helped them. And at the very latest at that point, they should have dropped the case. Should have gone, nah, this is not something we are trying to get into court. It's bad enough for him. Like what the company basically did, and I wrote this in the column. I understand what the police needs to do. I understand what the district attorney's office needs to do. I understand what their roles are. But the problem that happened here is that a guy did the right thing. He might have done it in some suboptimal situation, or like in some optimal way, but he basically did the right thing. I know what the letter of the law is, right? But this company basically used the state executive to punish this guy. Because it's enough for like to have your, like if you're a freelancer like me, you got all your equipment seized, you can't work, right? You have to buy new equipment, all of that. It's like a huge burden. Like there's some data on there that you might need. He was actually at some point talking about, I think even publicly, I'm not going to name the guy because we don't do this in Germany. But like I think he was generally publicly talking about that. He was like talking to the police, is like, I mean, you have all my stuff, you have all my passwords. I need some files that are on there, like for customers. Can you get me some of the files? So basically, in this case, a company that's kind of shitty, doing shitty things, basically used the state to punish this guy. And that was kind of like the stuff this is all recap. This is what I talked about last time as well. Now, the new development, I wrote a story for Heise on this. I don't even know. Oh, yeah, I should probably go to get like a reader mode thing open here because annoying ads. But like I wrote a story on the 9th of June about this, and like the latest development in this case is was the Staatsanwaltschaft, the district attorney's office in Cologne, went to the Amtsgericht, which is the lowest circuit of courts in Germany, the Amtsgericht Jülich, and tried to bring this to trial. And the actual court, the Amtsgericht Jülich, turned down the case, which, this is something I really like about the German legal system, because we expect judges to like be intelligent, and there's like a burden to bring a case before a court in Germany. If it's like utter nonsense, the judge will often say, well, no, this is like obviously not, like they will do a pre-check on the actual legality of everything. They will be like, no, this is obviously, if we bring this to court, this is going to get turned down for that reason. Like, we shouldn't even take this case. And this is especially the case, like this is a criminal case, right? They charged him with some really serious criminal offenses that actually, you might get jail time for. For basically illegal access to computer systems, which is like there's like the hacking laws about hacking. And so they turned it down. Like the judge that was in charge of looking at this said that we cannot, we don't see the bar for hacking is not reached in this case because the data wasn't secured. I'm going to try to translate this, which is like kind of legal German, but they said because there is a crime of like accessing illegal data, but under this law, only data is included that is especially protected against unlawful or unauthorized access. So you have to. So this like hacking, computer hacking, only in the current understanding of the law, and this wasn't the case 10 years ago or whatever, like the law, or like 20 years ago, the law has developed, like, or the law actually is much the same, but like the understanding of the law, how it's interpreted, has changed. Like like if I have a server and I put like some customer data on the server publicly accessible and somebody downloads that, then to a court, this is not hacking, because the problem was me, like not the guy who accessed it. I was putting I was just like putting the data there, right? So I'm actually the guy who's probably at fault, but like the guy who downloads it, that's probably not illegal because the data wasn't protected. And they said specifically this, like to reach the level to consider this action illegal, does preclude that the guy who didn't want the data accessed has done some work to protect. Like they say, that there needs to be something needs to have happened, some work needs to have been done that objectively means that easy access to this data has been blocked. And they said in this case, we do not follow the district attorney's office that just a password means, there's been adequate protection. And this is actually, if I actually looked into this, this is current, current interpretation of the law by most German courts. That most courts have ruled that just having a password doesn't mean this data is adequately protected. Like this is the same in like GDPR cases, right? If you don't protect user data enough, and just having a password, if the password is just like penis, then that is not adequate protection. And they say that not every password in every case means that the data has been effectively protected. That's what the court says here. Like if it is too simple, or if it's standardized, then actually somebody accessing this data is not illegal in the terms of like this hacking thing. I mean, don't understand me wrong. They're just dealing with this charge that the district attorney's office, and I'm not a lawyer, obviously, but like, this is not legal advice, obviously. But like, they don't say that like if you access some data that's on the internet, they're not saying that that's not illegal. They're saying that that's not hacking. Like under this, it's like unbefugter Zugriff auf Computersysteme, I think is the German term, like unauthorized access to computer systems. Like it doesn't fulfill that specific, charge. Getting that data or like spreading that data further, selling that data, that might all be illegal. Having that data might be illegal. What they're saying is that because this wasn't adequately protected with a good password, this what the district attorney's office is saying, that the IT security guy hacked their system, that is just not the case, as in the opinion of this court and of this judge who said, we're turning down this case. We're not even taking this case on. Now, what happened now is that this is how the German legal system works in criminal cases. So a case is generally brought before the Amtsgericht, the lowest kind of court, and then can be decided or can be turned down. The court says, we're not taking this case. And then that can be it. Like the district attorney's office or whoever, can say, no, okay, we're giving up at this point. But they can also appeal to the next higher court, which in this case, the Landgericht, which is kind of like the county court. It's, Amtsgericht is like the I don't know. An Amt is like the department of a city, right? It's like the city court kind of. And this is kind of like the county or the state court. In this case, the Landgericht Aachen. And what the district attorney's office did was actually appeal to the Landgericht Aachen. So they said, we're not in accordance with what this judge thinks. We still think this is a crime, and we want to bring this case. They could have also done this, by the way, if this actually went to court and was decided, and the court would have said, okay, this guy is not guilty, then they could have done this as well. They could have also appealed. But in this case, they're appealing against the court, saying this is actually not a crime. They're saying the specific thing that you're charging this guy with is not a crime because, they didn't secure their software enough. And yeah, and this kind of baffles me. I gotta say, this really baffles me. Because in my opinion, the district attorney's office in Cologne should have known, they shouldn't even have brought this to court in the first place. They should have known that this is not a crime, that this is a company trying to punish a guy, a company that did not secure their software adequately, a company that kind of did shitty software quality, to be honest. A company that, as far as I know, they stopped talking to me at some point. But as far as, and very angrily, by the way, you can already, I could tell in my exchange with them that they were not very reasonable. So it, in hindsight, didn't surprise me that they, tried to get this guy in jail, right? Because imagine you're writing software, right? Where you're distributing a binary to your clients, that opens an SQL connection to your server where hundreds of thousands of customer information is stored, and you put a standard password in that, which, and by the way, I've looked into the software myself. If you look at that password, you just facepalm. But that's not even the problem. It could have been a secure password. The problem is hard coding that into the client. That's that's been a no-go for software for 25 years now. Literally the quarter of a century. We don't do this. Anybody who does a basic course in IT security infrastructure for software development knows this. You don't do that because, I'm just compiling this code into a binary and then it's connect. That's what decompilers are for. You can easily find it. And using a decompiler is the kindergarten step, right? There is fucking software that basically decompiles binaries it just finds passwords. It's what it does. It's there's some hacker tools in air quotes that are geared to this, that look for strings that look like passwords. I mean, this is I did some of this to verify the story, and I could do that. I could get to that password. And if I can get to that password, God help you. I'm not a hacker. I'm not even a good programmer. I've listened to Security Now for a few years, basically. And if I can do that, my God. So this is a company that does really shitty software. And then they're oh my God, they're butthurt because some guy just disclosed, helped them. They were the only thing they needed to do is go to the guy. Thank you for this. Here's $100. we're going to fix this, and then just shut up about it. And like, it's so embarrassing. You don't go to the fucking police, right? And they have to obviously disclose to the police. I happen to know this, like, this shit. And they're like going to the police and saying basically, hey, we secured this password. And I don't know, but apparently the police and the district attorney's office believed them because they brought this to court. Like, they should have dropped this. Like I mean, maybe I'm naive, right? I know that the police needs to investigate. The police is not concerned with the spirit of the law, right? If you ever seen there's a very good YouTube video. I bring this up on every podcast I do at least once a year, I feel like. But like, it's a really good, I think it's from a video from, I think it's a Harvard professor. It's like a lawyer who's also a professor at law school who gives a 1 hour, 45-minute talk about why you shouldn't talk to the police. And basically the gist is the police job is to investigate things and to find people they think did things. They are not concerned with the spirit of the law generally. They're a letter of the law kind of agency, right? They're looking at the law. They're interpreting it generally very, very, very straightforward and almost doggedly, right? So they're not being paid to judge if something, is bad. That's what courts do. But also the district attorney's office, because their job is to like coordinate the police, right? And their job is to look at, is this actually a crime? Like, and their job, in my opinion, is to actually look at the spirit of the law. And in the spirit of the law, this guy did the right thing, right? Even if it's kind of like, I'm obviously biased because I'm a journalist and I'm an IT security journalist. It's like sometimes journalists break the law, right? Watergate's a good example. There are times when journalists they skirt legality, right? But generally in a in a democratic society under the rule of law, we've generally decided that sometimes you can get, or often you should let journalists get away with these things if they do it in the pursuit of the common good. Like if they if they, for example, they might buy information from an informant where doing that might be illegal. But like if they do that to get the truth, right, and to publish the truth and to just, expose corruption or in a government or wherever else or in a company or whatever, then we generally have decided that is okay. Because that's kind of a journalist's job. And so German courts are like this as well. Like, there have been cases where especially IT security journalists have done like things that would, under the letter of the law, fall under this, what this guy is accused of as well, hacking computer systems. But, for example, if a journalist gets information from somebody, some IT security specialist about a security vulnerability, the journalist will have to verify it. And sometimes to do that, you have to log into some server with like this vulnerability, which is illegal. But, the journalist is doing it to verify his story, which is good for society, right? It's good for everybody because it gets you to the truth. And it kind of has to do that because and I've seen this personally time and time again, when you as a journalist contact the company, they immediately shut down, they fix the security vulnerability very quickly. This is why IT security people come to us, because they go to the company doesn't take them seriously. They just stall them for like weeks or months, and then they go to the press, and the press rings them, and suddenly something happens. But you if you're a good journalist, here's the trick of the trade, you verify the security vulnerability before you tell the company, because the first thing they do is they're going to fix it, or they're going to take whatever vulnerable system offline so you can't verify it. And sometimes when you do that, you might do something that's illegal. But generally, these kind of, when the police would find that out and go to the district attorney's office, generally they would say, well, we're not bringing this to court. We're not charging a journalist with this crime, which is, in the letter of the law they might have done. But the spirit of the law clearly does not cover this case. And to me, this is the same. Like, the spirit of the law doesn't cover this because this guy didn't have bad intentions very clearly. Now the company has claimed that he was working on a alternative software, that he was kind of a competitor to them, right? That I think they've even kind of alleged that he stole some business secrets from them to make competitive software. Now, this might all be true, but it has nothing to do with the criminal side, right? To me, if this company believes that, they should bring a civil court against this programmer, which I think would be okay. And then, it's civil court and there's different rules apply and whatever. But that does not apply to this criminal case, I think. I don't think you can justify, well, that's why he did hacking. He fucking told you about the security vuln. That's the thing, right? How can you claim at that point that he was violating like the spirit of the law? So I think the district attorney's office should have said, we're not even bringing this. They did, right? And then the court fucking said, no, this is not a crime. This is not covered by our understanding of this crime, because this company fucked up their software. They can't fucking code. So no, this wasn't hacking. What does the DA's office do? They escalate this to the next bigger court. Drives me up the wall. Like, at that point, you're being used by this company to punish this guy. This is ridiculous. This is laughable. This should never be in court. Now, I don't know if the Landgericht Aachen is going to take this case. From everything I know, they haven't told me. They've been kind of stalling me. They're like, I've been writing to them. They're like, well, we're deciding. And I'm like, when is the decision due? And they're like, well, we're waiting for written statements and for that deadline to expire. I'm like, when is that deadline? They're not telling me. So I don't know. I have told them that the interest of this, and this is actually true, the interest in this case in Germany, at least in the in the, as we call it, the Fachpresse, guys, I generally write for Heise, the specialized press, and like among software developers and IT security people, is relatively high, because if this case actually goes through, it will, if this guy gets convicted, it would be a very bad precedent. I think it's already way too easy for companies to just just go to the police, and if they don't like you and say like, this guy stole our software, and then to figure that out, the police, or downloaded some shit. To figure that out, the police will have to seize your equipment, and then you're sitting there without the equipment. That's already I think the bar to do that should actually be a lot higher. Of course, a judge signed that, right? They had a warrant to take his stuff. I think that's also a problem. At that point, I think the judge shouldn't have signed that, but that's much more specialized. And, that's actually hard because, I understand the other side there as well. Like, if you take too many powers away from the police to actually go and, go somewhere and seize the stuff, then they wouldn't actually catch criminals. But in this case, we're not talking about a criminal, which was obvious. I actually had access at some point to the internal files from the police on this case, and it's hilarious because it's how they're basically dated, police files are dated, and you can see that every month or so some guy would get this file from the tower of files, look at it, and then write a one-page thing, put it on top, and put it back in the file hell. And several of these have handwritten notes that say, "Oh, this is urgent. This is next month is still urgent." And because it took them from the time the story was published, their original story about security vulnerability, and the company actually saying this guy hacked our systems, to actually searching his place took I think 6 months. It took several months. And, if that guy was a real hacker, he would have deleted all the, they would have, actually the judge should have said, we're not giving you a warrant to search this guy's home because there you wouldn't find anything. If that guy's actually a criminal, like you'll have deleted all the evidence by now. Like, why keep it? And if he kept it, it'll be encrypted and you won't get access to it anyway. And the fucking guy gave him the passwords. He collaborated, but that's like the final indicator where you're like, okay, this guy's not a malicious criminal hacker. Like they don't give us the password. I mean, I personally don't understand why he gave him the password, but I guess it's kind of like the don't talk to the police thing. Most people don't understand that. They don't understand that the only thing you can do is like incriminate yourself. That's literally the only thing you can do. That's why you don't do that. Yeah. Like it's there's no upside to you in talking to the police. There's immense danger and no upside, which is why you don't do it. And this is why you don't give them the password to your stuff. Because under the rule of law and Western democratic systems, if they have a blob of unencrypted files, I mean, they try this, and politicians try this a lot, and the police also, like when they actually interrogate people, they will do it. They're like, well, the fact that we can't look into this is suspicious, is it not? It kind of proves that you did something wrong. No, that's not how the law works. It might be suspicious, but lots of things are suspicious. I don't like your mustache, sir. That's a mighty suspicious mustache. That's kind of that. Like, it's not like that doesn't incriminate you. The fact that there's a blob of pseudo random noise that nobody can look into is just like, could be anything in there. You can't say like, oh, the fact we can't look into this, so you must be doing illegal things in there. No, it's not how the law works. So this is what has happened. I'm actually gonna update you on this once I'm gonna write about this obviously once I figure out, we'll see. If this goes to trial, then that'll be very interesting. I kind of hope that the Landgericht Aachen says no. We concur with the Amtsgericht Jülich, and we think this wasn't a crime. And I think if I am correctly informed about the German legal process at that point, I'm not a lawyer, obviously. This is not legal advice. Still, don't talk to the police. That's just common sense. In that case, I think the case dead. I think it's not. They can't appeal again. I don't think you can appeal twice in that case. That would be good, because this needs to go away. This is fucking atrocious. But hey, that's the way it goes. But I thought this was interesting. I thought I should update you on this. I thought this was a quick thing I could throw in here without actually having to do too much work, because to be honest, I'll still have a shitload to do. I'm sitting in my office. If you saw my office right now, it's like I actually can't take pictures of it. Otherwise, I would like post a picture on the forum. But there's like lots of confidential stuff lying around here, I think. There's also like books by Yeats and Tennyson and shit. But there's also just like random shit, like pens and files and open suitcases and power banks and cables and boxing gloves, and it looks like hell, and it won't get any better in the next few weeks. But I hope very much that I can come back to you with another podcast in about 2 weeks' time, as soon as I can. I want to reassure you once again that this podcast is not going away. I love doing it, and I will continue to do it whenever I can. And with that, maybe we should quickly talk about the feedback. Not actual feedback, but how you can contact me. Which is first and foremost the forum, but you can just go to... I haven't said... I'm so bad. I can't do this anymore. PrivateCitizen.press. It's the website. With all the show notes is on there, including to this episode. And there's also a link to, a contact page where, it's my email address. There's like a encrypted whistleblower contact form. I've actually gotten some really good information in there lately about some things I'm researching now, which is really cool. So thanks for that, anonymous people. But there's also the forum at forum.fab.industries. You can also, there's some really cool people on there. You can talk to them, or you can talk to me. And I kind of want to know what you want me to cover. That would be nice if you have any input. And don't be afraid for it to be out there, right? I like to cover stuff that other people don't cover. I mean, the worst thing that can, I will not laugh at you. The worst thing that can happen is like I just don't cover it. It's kind of like there are no silly questions. Opening another beer here. Please let me know, or if you have anything else you just wanna tell me about the show, how things are going on in your neck of the woods, please do. I'm very interested in this kind of stuff. And that's basically it about the feedback. So let's talk about the supporters that have been supporting me, even though I haven't put shows out, which is quite amazing. So this podcast produced under the value for value model, which means it's presented to you free of charge and you don't have to do anything. But if you want, you can support me. The chief way is Patreon, but you can also do so via PayPal. It's just, if you want to know the details of that, just, contact me. Also, if you want to write me, email, that wouldn't be on the forum because that's public. But I guess you could send me a private message on the forum. But generally, if you wanna email me or whatever, tell me some stuff that I shouldn't put on the show, or if I should put your name with the feedback, please just tell me. I will do that. In the spirit of being a good journalist and protecting sources and all of that. I always respect these requests. So you can do that. Anyway, you can be a patron, but you can also use PayPal. Just write me an email. I'll tell you. I mean, the PayPal email address is producers@fab.industries. It's not really a secret. Producers@fab.industries if you want to pitch in, which some people have done. So you can do that. And with that, I would like to thank all my supporters. This includes my Twitch subscribers, by the way, as I'm streaming this live. Once again, I would like to thank you as well. You're also helping out. You can do that with Amazon Prime, like Prime Gaming, whatever, for free. Actually, you can subscribe to one channel. You can subscribe to mine. We got some amazing new emojis on the Twitch channel, and an avatar. I've got a new avatar which was made by Pewee, which is an amazing artist from Germany. She's great. She did some great work on that. So pretty proud of that. But so I thank those people, but I also thank my Patreon subscribers, and I can't stress this enough. I'm incredibly grateful that you're supporting the show, even though I haven't put out episodes. I promise to put out more episodes. I just can't promise when and how many, but I will be doing as many as I can. I promise you that. Just financial difficulties and stuff means that sometimes I need to prioritize other things that just, get me money more directly, and some more money, to be honest, because I kind of have to pay the bills as well. But I appreciate this very much, that you're helping out, and especially in times where I'm not releasing episodes. So thank you very much for that. So I would like to thank my showrunner, Sir Galtaran. Salute goes out to you, sir. No gender royalty. I'm honored to have you. I'm also honored to have my executive producers, One Eye 11G, Butterbeans, Jaroslav Lichtblau, Rizal, Sandman616. Supervising producers, Avis, Bennett Piata, Dave, IKN, Jackie Plage, Jonathan M. Hitai, Krunkel, Michael Mullen Jensen, and Tobias Weber. And my producers, Andrew Davidson, Astral C, Barry Williams, Cam, Captain Aircat, David Potter, Dirk Didi, Fadi Mansour, Florian Pigorsch, Joe Poser, Mika, Mr. Amish, RJ Tracy, and Robert Forster. And I misspelled something in the show notes, and I should fix that before I forget. That needs to be comma, not a full stop. I I'm also very, very thankful to my associate producers, D. Jonathan Johanssonen. My show notes are just crapping out. Just give me a second. I need to fix this. This is nothing on your end. It's just my development environment that I'm running the show notes in before I'm publishing them has been a bit flaky recently. Anyway, I would like to thank my associate producers, D. Jonathan Johanssonen, Kaisius, Ricky M., Steve Hose, and Vlad. And I would like to also thank my additional supporter, Eric Lelay. Eric actually used PayPal. So thank you, Eric. I received your yearly contribution, as he says. He's buying me a coffee every month, and that's amazing. And that's all I need. It's just, it doesn't matter what you pitch in. If you pitch in, even if you don't pitch in, if you listen, I'm happy that you listen. Just write some feedback. Tell me you're listening. I mean, I see the downloads up, but are people actually listening? If you just want to write in and say, hey, my name is, I don't know. I don't even want to tell you my name. I'm just some guy and I'm listening. That's awesome too. I'm happy for. God, I'm gonna get a million emails now. Yeah, that's okay. I'll be happy about that. My inbox is fucked anyway. It's so fucked. I've got like 1,000 unread emails. You just don't want to know. The curse of a journalist. That's the new email address that I've only been using since like 2018. Jeez. Yes, thanks everybody once again. I appreciate it very much. I'm very happy to have you. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm gonna run and do some other shit. I hope this little episode kind of brightened your day and brought some useful information to you, even if it's only that Fab isn't dead, and Fab might do some more podcasts in the future. Fab's really trying. Code Monkey, get up, get coffee. So I'm gonna play us out with a song by Will Harrison, which I've played some songs from before. He's one of my favorite Epidemic Sound artists. He's like a acoustic guitar guy. This is some really nice blues. It's called No Future. Kind of fits with the current feeling that a lot of people seem to have. I feel I had recently I wrote a quick blog note about this. My blog's at fab.industries, by the way, in case you don't know. But like, I had my my iPhone weather app. It's been warning. Like, this is the official Apple like weather widget, right? And there's been warnings all the time. But like, I had a new one the other day, which was moderate temperature warning. They're like, oh, it might be like 27 degrees, which is like, it's July. Like, I wrote a like little snippy blog comment about this, like, a bit like sarcastic, because like back in the day, I don't even know what a moderate temperature warning is. Like, why would you warn from moderate temperatures anywhere? But like, I don't know what that is, but back in the day we just called it summer. Like 27 degrees in July is just normal. And I had some guy chime in from Brisbane who's like, this is like winter temperatures in fucking Queensland. I was like, yeah, it is. I actually been telling this to people. They're like, oh my God, it's going to be 38 degrees in Germany. We're going to die. And I'm like, mate, that's just normal in Australia. Like, I've actually been writing back and forth with somebody in some Twitch channel where they're like, oh, this is really bad, it's really unhealthy. I'm like, how is this unhealthy? Have you ever been to Thailand? There's people who live in this heat all year. Like, it's not unhealthy. Like, your body the human body is a remarkable thing. They're like, yeah, but like, I'm like, it's fucking normal in Australia. They have that every summer. It's like, but they're adapted to it. I'm like, they were fucking convicts from Europe. They got there like 200 years ago. It's not like they've been evolutionary, like there's been evolution at work. It's been 200 years. They're just not as fucking pansy as Germans, right? Stop whinging, mate. Just, it's warm. All right, you sweat. All right, you're like your skin, your forehead gets shiny. You're transpiring. Who cares? I remember when I was in Australia, like in 2001, when I went there as an exchange student, I was amazed because, back then to me that was like hot, right? It was getting summer in Queensland. I'm like, holy shit, it's 38 degrees. We don't have an aircon in school. Like, this is really hot. And I go home from school and I noticed like that there were people, there were like delivery drivers and I think postmen who had to wear long pants. Like, that was just their uniform. And it got like 40 degrees. And I'm like, holy shit. And they're still wearing long pants. They had short sleeved shirts in summer, but they were wearing long pants, shirts, and ties. And they were just getting on with it. There was no fucking whinging. There was like, I can't die. Yeah, John's like, look how hot it is in Death Valley, says Astros. Yeah, right. That's why it's called Death fucking Valley. Oh God, it's so bad. It's like it's. I mean, I get the journalists, right? They're just shitty human beings, and they're just trying to get clicks. But like normal people who read that, just turn on your brain. Like, they're literally going, it's 36 degrees in July. It's global warming. And I'm like, we had 36. I remember when I was in Germany. Okay, I'm going to stop the show in a bit. Just some rants. Here's some free fat rants for you at the end of the show. Right? I remember specifically, in Germany, we have a thing called Hitzefrei. Hitzefrei. It's like heat holiday. If it gets too hot in summer, the government will decide that it's too hot for school and you can go home. And sometimes they're like, oh, it's going to be this hot today. You don't have to go to school, which was amazing as a kid, right? You wanted that. It was like, Hitzefrei, yeah! Yeah, we're just going to go to the pool. No school today, right? I specifically remember we only had that when I went to high school, that the government specified that this would only happen when it was 38 degrees. It had to be 38 degrees, which, was kind of rare. But it happened. I can remember it happening like several times, like at least 3-4 years. So this was like in the 90s. We're talking like 96, 97. And now it's like 38 degrees and it's like record temperatures. And I'm like, no. No, we had Hitzefrei back in the day. Like, it happens more now. I'm not saying it's not warmer now and it's not drier now, but like, it's not world-changingly worse. It's not like, oh, it's the first, they literally act like it's the first time it's 38 degrees. I'm like, it was 38 degrees 30 years ago. Jesus, I'm old. It's hilarious. Anyway, yeah, so, it's just craziness. So it's the end. It's no future. It's the end of the world. No Future by Will Harrison. I'm going to see you soon, hopefully. Soonish. I'm going to see you again. I promise that. I will do another episode. I promise it now. If I don't die from the heat in Italy, I will do another episode, all right? I promise you that much. Aim to misbehave. Rightio, that's the podcast done. Stop, click, save. Yes, by the way, PyToast, hello. Can't take anyone seriously who lectures me on climate change with nauseating superiority while they have a smartphone in their pocket. Batteries, whatever that require cobalt mining, that use slave labor. These people don't stand for anything. Astrology says capitalism is bad. Tweeted from iPhone. Yeah, not only that, but that fucking phone is tied to the cloud all the time, right? And there's a data center that's running. Okay, it's all like fucking solar powered data center, but it's like wasting, well, at least that's what they say. But it's like wasting fucking energy the whole time. Like, oh my God, no, it's 38 degrees, we're all gonna die. People are horrible. Anyway, that's it for me. I got some work to do. I gotta get these show notes out. I gotta do shit. We're gonna visit Deadly Slop now because I'm gonna live vicariously through him, because today, Season of the Malignant, so the Diablo season has started. And I can't play it because I got fucking shit to do. So we're gonna. I'm gonna spend, like, while I'm sorting more papers later, I'm gonna spend my evening watching Deadly Slop. So I invite you to do that as well. I love him. He's a great streamer. He's from Canada. He's a great guy, and yeah, I enjoy him very much. So let's rate Deadly Slop, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully, I'll also do another stream. If I survive Italy, I'm gonna do another stream. I'm gonna promise you that. Yeah, hopefully see you soon. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it a lot. Hopefully see you soon.